Welcome to the Mental Health Hour. This is episode 83, and we're doing self worth tonight. Um, Continuing on, I guess, from last week, we did Living with Depression 3. So, seems fitting to go with self worth this time as we were discussing different ideas to help mitigate depression and manage it. But Gemma, how are you this week?
Not too bad. Not as poorly as I was the other week, and the cough seems to have gone. Thankfully, just a tiny bit, but keeping an eye on the weather because it's snowing.
Snowing.
Yeah, the white stuff. Hate it.
Snow in jolly old England. We're getting
We're
ready
used
for
to, like,
spring.
yeah, we're so used to rain, so no, not so much.
Are you getting accumulation or is it just flurrying?
There's little bits on like grass and stuff. It's not really settling on the road or anything yet, but hopefully not. Thomas is not having a snow day. I don't care if I have to walk him up there. He's not having a snow day.
That's the way I feel.
Oh dear.
If it snows right now, they're still going to school.
Oh hell yeah. Even if it's like 5 foot tall or something, it's not going to happen that much.
The
But yeah,
schools, the schools do enough to give them days off without snow. So, um, anyway, so tonight, self worth.
mm-hmm.
Got a few things to kind of get into. um, we do have some slides as always. Um, talk about differences between self worth and self esteem, how they differ. Um, get into validating yourself, which we've talked about in the past, is kind of a uh, it's hard for people to feel heard when they're not validated. Well, it's the same with yourself. Your self worth isn't going to be worth much if you're not validating yourself. You're not hearing yourself. Um, Uncle Rick, good to see you. Um, sorry, I'm tardy. Nobody's tardy. Uh, a very good evening, good Wednesday evening to all, wherever you are. Um, and yeah, so Gemma, do you happen to know any difference between self-worth and self-esteem? It's not a test or a quiz or anything. Just start off the show with a little comment.
They do have some similarities, definitely.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
commonly um, confused as the same.
hmm yeah, there are some similarities, but I think self-worth is particularly when we're talking about depression. The more depressed you become, the the worse your self-esteem, I think, and self-worth. More so, I'd say self-worth, and like that can also be affected by family members, friends, not necessarily someone
Yeah.
else, but
Um, a good evening to Jim in Chicagoland, long
hey,
time subscriber as well. Um, he's lurking from the office, it looked like, and Mr. Med is driving, so drive safe.
yeah,
Drive safely, Mr. Med, out in the snow.
oh god, yeah,
So, there's three kind of ways to look at this. There's self-worth, self-esteem, and self-confidence.
mm-hmm.
Self-worth and self-esteem, I think, are the ones that uh, get mixed up. But self-worth, I just wanted to read this as I found it to be kind of poignant. There's no huge difference between self-worth and self-esteem, especially for those who are not professionals in the field of psychology. In fact, the first definition of self-worth in the Merriam-Webster dictionary website is simply self-esteem. So, as you were saying, a lot of similarities.
Mhm.
Um, Clearly, many of these terms are used to talk about the same ideas, but for those deeply immersed in these concepts, there are slight differences. Self esteem is what we think and feel and believe about ourselves, whereas self worth is recognizing that I am greater than all of those things.
Mhm.
It's a deep knowing that I'm of value, that I'm lovable, necessary to this life, and of incomprehensible worth. So, yes, it's very similar and it's commonly um, used uh, intermingly. What the hell is the word? They
Like
use,
day to day.
yeah. Um, but the main difference, there is a difference, and the main difference is that self esteem is your perception or what you're thinking and feeling and believing about ourselves, whereas self worth is recognizing, and
Mhm.
that's the key term. Hello, Ace the Grim Reaper and Michael Joseph Murray in the house as well. Good to see everybody. And Uncle Rick is going to lurk, so have a good lurk, Uncle Rick. And welcome to. That reminds me. Welcome to all the lurkers. This is a very lurk free, or I mean lurk free, lurk friendly broadcast. Uh,
Mhm. Mm.
if you feel like chiming in, go for it. But if you like to just sit back and listen, we're all for that too. And also, hello to our replay viewers on YouTube or our replay listeners on Spotify, which has recently taken off. We've been throwing the Spotify link out there a bit more to try and just have one landing spot as we set the podcast up. Of course, we sent it to all the major platforms, but that makes it difficult to try and promote. So I just have been spamming the hell out of the Spotify, try and get some traction on at least one of them, and it seems to be doing pretty well.
Mhm.
Um, Self confidence. In the same vein, there are subtle but significant differences between self worth and self confidence. Self confidence is not an overall evaluation of yourself, but a feeling of confidence and competence in more specific areas. For example, you could have a high amount of self worth, but low self confidence when it comes to extreme sports, certain subjects in school, or your ability to speak a new language.
Mhm.
It's not necessary to have a high sense of self confidence in every area of your life. There are naturally some things that you will simply not be very good at, and other areas in which you will excel. The important thing is to have self confidence in the activities in your life that matter to you and a high sense of self worth overall.
Mhm.
That is from positivepsychology.com. And I'll go ahead and post that on the wellness articles in the Discord. What do you think, Gemma?
Um, yeah, that was a good way of describing it. I'm regularly told that I'm always self-sabotaging myself and putting myself down too much, and I kind of blame the fact that when you're told something so many times by somebody who you love or respect, like a parent, a family member, or a good friend, after a while, it's like planting a seed in your head, and it over time grows bigger and bigger, and it can affect all the other things from self worth, self confidence, all of it. So
Yes.
they are all very very closely related, but also have very different meanings as well. Yeah, it's.
Yes.
I think if you have one, you're likely to have problems with other things as well. And
I would
sometimes
agree.
recognizing it is like what was it we were talking about on an episode? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, imposter syndrome. That was it. Like that can be thrown in as well, in a way with and affect your self worth. If you genuinely believe that you shouldn't, like, say for example, I shouldn't have this job. Like I'm gonna wake up and this is all gonna go away, and that can affect your self worth
Wow.
and the belief you have in
Imposter
yourself.
syndrome. That's
Yeah,
throwing it way back.
yeah,
I I can't remember, but I think that was like episode 28 or something.
yeah. It was quite a long time ago. It was on a other platform, I think.
It might have been, or we just got off of there.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I feel like that certainly affects things. It's like one and the other.
Yeah, I mean they all go hand in hand pretty well.
Mhm.
Um, so what? We're just gonna focus on self worth tonight.
Yeah.
Um, we can definitely get into the other ones as the show goes on. If there's time, we can get deeper. But if not, we can just touch on different things. But I thought we could first just start by going over those three as they can commonly be used as the same. Um, Self worth in and of itself um, is determined really by you. I mean, hence the name self worth.
Mhm.
Um, you control this. Uh, I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the right way to put it because we did learn the only thing you have any control over is how you react to things. So I
Mhm.
guess that kind of falls into this.
It's like reprogramming your brain. If your mindset is that of a negative, it's gonna affect everything. So it's about taking that negative and turning it into a positive, focusing on what you are good at, focusing on what you can do, focusing more on your in believing in yourself. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, especially if you've had negative thoughts for a long time. I don't think there's a day gone by since the day I was able to speak where I haven't said something negative about myself. And it's just second nature to me now. I don't even
And,
realize I'm doing it.
and that is unfortunately the pitfall,
Hmm.
excuse me, that we fall into.
Hmm.
Um, Everybody is probably in some way, shape, or form guilty of it at some point,
Hmm.
giving yourself a hard time when it probably wasn't warranted, or maybe giving yourself a harder time than uh, you should have.
Oh yeah.
We are human. We are naturally hard on ourselves, especially if we want to succeed
Hmm.
and be, uh, you know, up to everybody else's ideal, which is usually just some made up shit in our head that we've uh, put together about what people think and how people are, except for me. Um, there's a lot of factors that go into how you perceive your self worth. Um, for instance, the big one I know right off the bat is your appearance.
Hmm.
We do the body image episodes. We've done a few of those. Um, these are uh, falling right in line with that. If you're perceiving um, your appearance uh, being everything on the outside, um, and not so much what you're putting out on the from the inside, uh, you stake a lot of claim in low self worth. Gemma, I know you have talked about body image and issues. Do
Hmm.
you feel like that lowers your self worth?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like a lot of the time I'm harder on myself because of that. Like because of the body dysmorphia, which has already programmed my brain to look for the worst things in me and my appearance, that definitely has an effect on my self-worth, thinking that I am, like, say, fat or ugly or anything negative that I can bring at myself. And it's certainly been exacerbated by the body image issues that I have. Um, I know when I was a lot younger, I wasn't necessarily as bad with the body image. And I feel like since that started, my self-worth has gone way down. But it's also been brought down by other people. And there's a lot to be said for filling yourself with positive people. Um, there's a saying about don't change yourself to match your surroundings. Change your surroundings so that you are with people that are worthy of being with you.
Yeah,
And like you shouldn't have to change who you are for anyone. Anyone that is worthy of being in your life should accept you exactly the way you are.
agreed. And I also think it's a good point that you brought up how the body image and self worth uh, it grows
Mm.
throughout the years as you I don't want to say build a tolerance to your own um, negativity.
It's true though, you do. After, because I've been doing it years now. Like I'm always being told by someone that was in the chat that I am always pulling myself apart and that it's not a nice thing sometimes see hear me doing it, but it's like I'm completely immune to it. Whereas when I first started with it, it hurt, it upset me. Now it's literally second nature to me, and sometimes I will say things or do things and I have no idea that I've done it. It's like a knee-jerk reaction to something.
Yeah,
Like if something bad happens, it's like a knee-jerk reaction that I would blame myself for that going wrong. When often it's completely out of my hands, but because I have low self-worth, I immediately blame myself for it.
yeah.
Oops.
I know my self worth was pretty low, obviously, when I was in my drinking. Um,
Mm.
but it was another one of those things that I just didn't really piece together. Um, we're blind to what we don't want to see, I guess. Um, but we're going to throw to some slides to kind of go over some more of this because I got a few of them tonight. I've got about 6 of them that
Yeah.
uh, I found, 3 or 4 good ones. But then the fourth one kind of spun me in another direction, and I found 2 more, and we'll talk about that, about boundaries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But other than appearance being a big one, just some other small examples, and they may be in the slides. So spoiler alert, I'm sorry. But net worth, finances, money,
Mm-hmm.
what you're worth, that's a big one. Your career, obviously, um, who you know, your social circle, and what you've achieved in your life
Yeah.
are
There's so
some big
many
players.
people. There's so many people that class themselves as having a successful life if they've got a lot of money or a lot of expensive possessions, and they don't feel like they've made it in life if they don't have those things. Whereas really, it's nothing to do with what's in your bank, because we are all going, like, we're all going to leave this world and you can't take that with you. I think there are far more important things in, yeah, we need money to live, unfortunately,
It
but
is
there
a
are,
fact of life.
yeah, there are far more important ways of being and showing your success in life that doesn't cost a thing. That's what I think anyway.
Absolutely. All right, let's throw over to some slides. We'll
Yeah.
get some more information from the pros, or at least the authors of these slides.
Yeah.
Again, all the slides will be available in the Discord. exclamation point Discord from Hattie there. She'll throw it up, and you can feel free to um, join our community. It's a good time, real good time.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the first slide. Just how we kind of what we just went over, but some more.
Yeah. Okay. So 5 ways we compromise our self-worth. Perfectionism, so we feel unworthy if we are imperfect, so like body image and things like that. Overworking, we work to excess in order to feel valued and receive tangible proof on our worthiness, so praise, financial compensation, awards, degrees, etc. Busyness, we overschedule and keep ourselves busy as a way to distract ourselves and feel needed. Compensation, we look to others to measure our value and we compare ourselves to others and feel like inferior. And then the last one, people pleasing. We prioritize other people's opinions above our own. We compromise our values and needs to please others, and we feel less than when others are angry or disappointed with us. People pleasing is a big one, I think. I think we're probably all guilty of that at some point.
Yeah,
Like how big it is or small, we are all, I think we've all done something that maybe we wouldn't normally have done just to please somebody else.
Naomi says, I'm trying to make an effort to focus on my self worth and health more. It's hard helping others all the time, especially with my husband's possible depression and drinking. We forget to take care of ourselves.
Mm,
And that is a big part of it is self care. Uh,
yeah.
will is one of the things that will help your self worth, help build that. And we have a slide with some ways to continue that.
Mm,
Espresso, good to see you. Glad you could make it in. We still have to face the music at some time, unfortunately. I've hit the wall twice and am the best for it. And that is very true. We do need that rock bottom, whatever it may be, whether it's addiction or self
mm,
esteem, self worth. Uh, Definitely need to face the music, as you put it, and build ourselves back up from that.
mhm,
Oh, Betty is here. That's our good friend Elena from episode 22. Um, Overworking is a huge one, trying or tying productivity to self worth. If
mhm,
you're not being productive enough, you're not good enough. So, yeah, um, jobs, finances, or financial well being,
mhm.
appearance, and social network, like who you know. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, there's some more examples of uh, the good ones: the busyness, comparison, a lot of cognitive distortions um, that I'm seeing. All right, now we'll get back, or we'll get towards that validation, like I was talking about at the beginning.
Yeah. So this one is 5 ways to validate your self-worth. And it says here are 5 ways you can validate your self-worth, which will help change the relationship you have with yourself. Make self-acknowledgement a regular practice. So this is about giving yourself credit, celebrate your wins, and give yourself praise for sticking to your habits, for anything positive you've done, and make this a daily practice. So this is like we discussed once before about like a gratitude journal or something like that, something which you can do every day that you're grateful for, something that you've achieved. So adding positivity into your life, like in that sense. And
There
then
are
focus on your wellness and self care. If you're not healthy, you won't feel good about yourself. If you make yourself a priority, you're telling yourself you are worthy. This will change how you view yourself. Make your health and well being the most important thing you do every day. And even if you are looking after somebody, if you're not in tip top health yourself, you can't. give anybody else. It's like burning the candles at both ends. You can't just it's going to run out,
Yeah.
basically.
Number 3.
So talk to yourself the way you would talk to your best friend. It's unlikely that you'll constantly criticize your best friend. So why do you do it to yourself? Talk to yourself in positive terms as much as you can, and also self-assess when you know you could have done better. Number 4, take responsibility for your happiness and attitude. Happiness is a choice. Your attitude and outlook on life determine your experiences. Even if something does not go as you expect, you can see it from a perspective that will generate positive emotions. No matter what happens, you can choose the meaning you give it. So like Tim said, we control it by how we react, and how we react is a big thing to that, because that if something's gone wrong and you're blaming yourself and being critical of yourself, that's going to drag your self-worth way down. And then number 5, make personal growth the main thing in your life. If you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you will have a healthier relationship with yourself. Have a growth mindset, learn new things, eliminate unproductive habits, ask for feedback, and avoid negative influence. This will change the relationship you have with yourself. In the Discord, we have a channel that's dedicated to saying things that you're proud of, things that have gone well for you. So if you want, if you're in the Discord and you want to pop something in there so that we can all celebrate our achievements, that will help, because there's nothing more uplifting than celebrating something you've done well,
Yeah.
something you've achieved, and having others do that as well and cheering each other on. That's really validating and really, really good thing. And it doesn't even have to be a big thing. Even if all you achieved was getting up out of bed, that's still an achievement. If you've got like health or mental health issues and all you did that day was just get up out of bed or just survive it, that is still an achievement.
That is 100%
Mhm.
correct. Everything, even like she just said, if it's the hardest thing you do that day is to get out of bed, that is an accomplishment. I've been there.
Mhm.
Um, Going back over this real quick, just the bullet points. Validating yourself, or validating your self-worth, is listening to yourself. If you're not validating yourself, then what are you doing? You're dismissing yourself.
Mhm.
And we all know how shit that feels,
Mhm.
to be dismissed. And now you're doing it to yourself. So focus on your wellness, the self-care, as Hattie was talking about. Acknowledge regular practices. The journaling was definitely something that came up several times. There,
Mhm.
there are even self-worth journal prompts out there, and I'll see if I can locate it and I'll put it in the Discord as well. Um,
Yeah.
Talking to yourself, the way you speak to your best friend, you know,
Mhm.
we all have the inner conversation with ourselves. Uh, it's it should be no different than do unto yourself, or do unto others as you would do unto yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Happiness and attitude, take responsibility for, and that growth mindset. What that's just a cool ass term, growth mindset. Um, just just be open to personal growth and make it a priority, um, and you'll validate yourself. Um, Switching over here, how do we build self-worth?
Right, yeah, so things that build self-worth. Where are we? So, number 1, keeping daily small promises to yourself. Saying no to something you don't have the energy or desire to do, and learning that it is okay to say no if you can't do it. Like, you say it and stick to it. Think of yourself. Speaking your truth. We did an episode about speaking your truth with
Sarah.
Sarah Lightman. Yep. Number 4, practicing boundaries. So setting boundaries for yourself in the way of don't burn yourself out, don't take on too much, what you are willing to accept from other people as well, things like that. Clearly expressing a need and communicating how it can be met. Um, so again, like, don't think you have to struggle alone. If you need if you need something, if you need to get some help, ask for it. But the best thing, like the number 1, the daily promises and things like that, make it a part of your day, just 5 minutes to write or at least think of something positive in which you have achieved that day.
Yeah.
Something that's made you smile, something that you find, like, that you've done well, and celebrate those things. Celebrate them with friends. Like I said, there's one in the Discord. When we finish this episode, I'll pop something in there for myself
Yeah.
and see if anybody else can do it. It'll be good. I think it'll be good to do that, and
I
then we can all
found I
celebrate.
found the journal. It looks like Hattie's dropped something for us, but I found the one I was looking at earlier that I enjoyed. I'll throw that in the Discord right now. But this got us into that practicing boundaries, and boundaries are huge in a lot of things mental health related. You can't get mad at somebody if you don't have boundaries set and they're not aware of them. So that made me kind of spur down a rabbit hole, and I kind of wanted to go over that with this because setting boundaries will help your self-worth highly. So Gemma, if you can go into this.
Yeah. Let's have a look. This one we are close down. Okay, so 10 signs that you lack personal boundaries. Number 1, you fail to speak up when mistreated. Number 2, you give away too much of your time. Number 3, you agree when you actually feel like disagreeing. Number 4, you feel guilty for dedicating time to yourself. Number 5, you feel taken for granted by others. Number 6, you have a toxic relationship. I think Michael's just said something earlier in the chat about toxic relationships. 7, you have a chronic fear about what others think of you. Number 8, you overshare details about your life with others. Number 9, you constantly feel like the victim. And number 10, you attract people who try to control or dominate you. I can relate to quite a lot of those. But
Yeah. I think I can as well. Well, I know I can. I definitely had an issue with setting boundaries, which is why I guess I found it's so interesting that this popped up because I did wind up reading a book when I was fresh out of rehab. I got a book that was recommended to me about setting boundaries in a marriage. Um, and at the time I was coming out of rehab, we were engaged and still on track to be married in October. And I got out of rehab in like June of that year.
mm,
I'm sorry, August. So it was a quick turn, but I wanted to keep that moving in a positive direction. And this
mhm,
book was recommended to me because I did find out that I do have issues with setting boundaries. You know, I'm one of those people that um, do feel guilty
mhm,
uh, and don't want to not mistreat others, but make them feel like they can't be themselves around me or stuff like that. But you can't resent um, resentment is like the ultimate negative impact on your mental health. Um, but yeah, so one last uh, one last slide for tonight
Yep.
uh, is then now that we know signs that you lack personal boundaries, how do we set them? And there's more information out there on the interwebs, and it might be something that we actually spend an episode on.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how to set boundaries. So clearly and objectively state the boundary. So, for an example, I won't be answering emails past 7 p.m. I will need you to ask before borrowing my things. I will need one night off of the week to myself, and I no longer like to discuss my ex at our get togethers. Just some examples. And the next one, communicate your needs without focusing on the other person. So begin your boundary with your own needs, not how you would like someone else to behave. You can't control anybody else's behavior. What you can control, and we've mentioned this in other broadcasts, is setting the boundaries, making it clear what you want, because sometimes it's not somebody that's doing it on purpose. They just don't know because you haven't told them. So set your boundaries. Then there is no room for speculation or anything if it doesn't happen. You have expressed your feelings. That's your boundary. Then
Yeah.
the next, avoid the ego state of over explaining. The ego will seek to defend. Just observe this and resist the urge to explain. A clear no and a statement of the boundary allows the other person to choose how they respond. We are not attempting to control another person. So, yeah, again, you can't control anyone else. The only thing you can control is how you deal with it and then how you react. Uh,
Very important, very important to realize that that was a light bulb moment for me. Uh,
mhm,
it's kind of simple when you think about it, but you don't really think about it. The only
mm,
thing we can control in this entire world is how we react to situations, um, things, conversations, how we react to any given circumstance.
mm.
That's
Yeah. And the last one, state your follow through. So, objectively state how you will respond if the boundary is crossed and follow through. This is something that I remember when I was doing my teacher training and then looking after kids. It's like setting boundaries for them. If you don't do this or if you don't behave, this will happen. Like like say for example, you will go to bed or you will go to your room. That kind of thing. But in all day life, like if you're asking somebody to do something or you're stating what you want and they aren't going to do that and they're not going to follow through, if you then just be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, they're going to keep doing it because they know they can push those boundaries and keep pushing those boundaries. And it turns out that sometimes people don't have a boundary, they just let them pretty much walk all over them. So make it clear what you want, set the boundary, and then if you need to, if they doesn't do it, tell them what's going to happen if you don't. Like, make it so that they know, because we're not mind readers, as much as I wish I was sometimes. But you have to be very clear with what you want. Otherwise, how's anybody else going to know? Just click something pop-ups on my screen. There you go. Oops, I've lost my sound. Okay, I have lost audio. I can't hear. Like, right, I'm
Hattie is dropping the link in the. Can everybody hear me now? I should not be muted right now. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, Hattie's dropping the link in the for the Discord. All you got to do is click on that link, and what you're gonna do is it'll either prompt you to download the app if you're on mobile. You can get it on desktop for Macs, um, but or you can go to the website. It does have its own website. So we'll go ahead and share screen here real quick, and I'll show you. It'll take you. You'll create an account and what have you, but it'll take you into Discord here. This is Discord, and then down the side here is all the channels you follow. Ours is at the top for me. You can customize that and what have you. And if you join up on our invite link, you'll be plopped into here where you can say hello to everybody that's come and gone. And then down the sidebar here, we have just different channels you can go to, our broadcast announcements, what's coming up, member shared resources, self-help from previous episodes, the wellness articles I just posted. You can see that's brand new. That was what I was reading on this episode, and I threw that in there just to give credit to them for reading their website on our show, but also because it's a fantastic follow-up to what we've been talking about if you want to get more information. And then journaling ideas, I did throw that up there as well, journaling prompts. So you just can navigate through this. You can talk to any of us. Naomi and Ray are both in chat right now. They're on our mental health hour team. They help us out a good deal with moderation, and they both live and breathe this stuff like we do. So they were easy additions. And then, of course, over here you have who's online, who's offline, everybody that's in the community. There is ways to do voice channels. You can have like Zoom calls essentially, and meetings. But overall, a lot of people get pretty talkative in the general and off topic between episodes. So it's just a good place to come. It is definitely where I am the most active on social media as far as this goes. I don't Facebook. I barely Twitter. I guess that would be my second favorite if I had to pick. And then I'm only on Instagram to post show stuff. So this is your best bet in talking with me. I think Gemma, I think you're the same way, right?
Yeah, definitely check there. I mean, I can be reached other ways if needed, but yeah, you're definitely best in Discord because I check it daily.
But that is Discord. That is a quick tutorial for those of you that don't know, and for those of you listening on the replay podcast networks, apologize for not being able to see the share screen that I did. However, the information is all there, and you can feel free to, if you really want to check it out and need help, hop on the YouTube channel and take a look at this episode 83 about self-worth. And you can see the nice tutorial we just gave. Ray says Discord is a very useful. I agree. I enjoy Discord. It's more intimate. You can have good moderation there. You can feel free to speak. This doesn't go out across the entire Twitter platform or anything like that.
Oh no, it's private. And like, if there was ever any problems, like with somebody, they'd be out pretty quick. So I don't think we've ever had anything really. Maybe just one slight, but yeah, it's a safe space and definitely worth joining.
And Craig, I'm sorry for the miss there, but thank you for letting me know that I had muted before I got too deep into that. But it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And I did also miss some bits cheered by Michael Joseph Murray. So thank you, Michael, for that, as always. The professional lurker, as he said earlier. Um, always a longtime supporter of the show, though, is Michael Joseph Murray. He's been with us for a long time. And all of you guys really have. Um, Craig is also from back in the Haps days. That's where I met him, at least. And then, you know, we have met, or I have met some new faces on the Twitch platform, but no strangers to live streaming are any of you. So we do really appreciate everybody being here every week. It's still incredible that we were able to make something out of this show, which is just awesome. I was kind of afraid when I got the idea to start it up that it would just fall flat, but here we are 83 weeks later. At least 83 weeks. We took a few weeks off, but
yeah, not many, but yeah, a few. Only when it's been like really necessary.
It is a weekly show that we do. We don't take a lot of Wednesdays off. There has been quite a few recently, but that was due to some unforeseen circumstances at times, sicknesses, and some work. I get called into work sometimes, and it's mandatory. Mandatory shift. Mandatory recall. I have one of those positions where if somebody bangs out sick, that seat can't be left unfilled that day. So if nobody's signed up for overtime, then they go to what they call a holdover list. And they call, if it's your holdover day, you are on call essentially for that day. And I could go in at any time. Anywho, that being said, we did some Discord. We went through our slides. What do we think, chat? I've seen some good conversations happening.
I wondered if people are willing to do it. Maybe everybody could just post one thing that they think they've done well this past week. Just something in the chat, just so that we can celebrate them together. I think that would be good. Just one thing that you think that you've done well this week. I guess I could say I finally had my bathroom done, and it took a lot of cleaning because of like the paint that they'd got all over and the plaster dust and stuff. So yeah, I was quite happy with the fact that I was able to do that, clean up.
I put mine in the chat.
I'm sure that you changed many of those.
But I thought I did it quite well, and I'm giving myself some accolades.
You always do it well. You always know if you've done it well, if it doesn't end up coming out.
That's a shit job.
Yeah, very literally.
But I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Oh no.
So since I posted it in the Discord, maybe we should take the opportunity to go over some of those journal prompts. Again, Hattie dropped a link for some journal ideas. Journaling is something that we advocate for on this show. As you guys know, we are not trained professionals in psychology or psychiatry or anything like that. We're just some folks that lived through some shit, and now we're out here trying to raise conversation about that shit because everybody goes through shit, and it needs to be more prevalent to talk about it.
There we go. Some good ones coming up. Sorry. So Rick, I've got my old clothes washed to go to the Salvation Army. Good cleaning going on. well done. I know I hate going through my old clothes. Hate it. One thing, I'm holding a bunch of useless consultants to account with losing my shit. You know, good for you. Good for you. I took a free day for myself, just drove around and went to a couple of places to clear my mind. That sounds amazing. Ray, we all need some time to ourselves. Good for you. And then successfully set up Boss's new PC with our work server. Wow, well done. Technology doesn't like me, so good for you doing that one.
And I started a new class today for work. It's a class needed to promote to lieutenant, and kind of been putting it off because it's not something that really sparks interest, but it is a mandatory checkbox for the ability to sit for the lieutenant's test in the fire service. It's instructor one. It's just learning how to teach, um, which who knows? I mean, it's not that bad. The first day was pretty good. Maybe I'll get into some teaching after I retire. I like doing this show. Can't be much more different than that, other than being in person. But I'm grateful for that. I think I'm gonna smash it out of the park. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Like when you do this show, and then when you've discussed about the things you've been through, and I guess the meetings and the supporting that you do with other people, that'll all stand you in good stead because it's not like you haven't worked with others, teaching things, and I think you'll do that well. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So the prompts that I threw in the Discord there, just a few, and that was one of them. That exercise we just did live on stream, which we should try and do more of. I don't know why we don't um, do more interactive things. It does get a bit difficult at times to try and manage that, but we can talk with Naomi and Ray about maybe throwing some polls up. I know how to at least do a poll. Anyway, the one we did was on here. What am I really good at, or what am I grateful for about myself? What was challenging today? That's a good one, because then you can get into how you overcame it. And journaling this stuff down is I feel like I haven't said this in ages. I used to say it like every show. Journaling is it's like a playbook of your life.
Yeah.
You see the coaches on the sidelines at the playbooks that you journal. You can then go back and look. This just happened, and here's how I handled it, and this worked pretty well. So it's kind of your secret playbook there. Plus, it just feels good to be in your own thoughts for a little bit.
Yeah. I've put a couple of things up in the Discord. It's blurry. So 21-day gratitude challenge and then gratitude journal prompts. So it asks you questions about things like what you're saying as well. So they're in the Discord if anyone wants to give those a go.
Some of the heavier ones, but still things that we have to take a look at as far as our self-worth goes is, am I happy with my current relationships? That can be anything from girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, all the way down to your friends or social network. Maybe the relationship you have with a family member has gone astray, but can be salvaged, maybe not. And then that's where number 12 comes in. What can I change about my current relationships? So just some ideas to take a look at, get you started on a journal. What is a spiral notebook's like $2 these days, or a composition book. It's Sean. Hey, yo. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Um, but yeah, uh, you said you put some prompts in, or what did you throw?
Yeah, they're in the Discord, and it is underneath gratitude check. So it's in text channels, gratitude check, and then I've just posted 2 prompts in there.
There you go. Some more journal prompts and
Feel
gratitude.
free to post any of your any gratitude or anything you've done well in there as well. So, like I say, we can celebrate them together, celebrate our achievements and things together. Doesn't have to be big at all. It can be anything.
Um, that was about all I had on my docket. I feel like we kind of ran through it, but I guess we are past 7.
Yeah.
We Let me make sure I hit that last. Yes, I did. Gemma, did you have anything additional about self-worth? Anything that you wanted to cover before we start wrapping her up for the evening?
No, I think I covered it all. Just, I guess, just be kind to yourself. Um, no,
Validate.
yeah, and reach out if you need to talk to somebody, and definitely work on the boundaries. I know I've got to do the same.
If
Work
you
on the
do need to talk to somebody,
boundaries.
I hear that Discord's a great place to do it.
Yeah.
The TMHH Discord, that is.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that is all I have, guys.
Yep.
It was a fairly easy episode to navigate this week. It's something that needs to be addressed for a lot of folks, and it went really nicely on the heels of our Living with Depression 3 episode. Craig finishes us up with, so your greatest power is your ability to choose how you respond. The point there is to actually choose rather than to react. Well, I think that. Poignant indeed.
Mm.
Um, thank you for what happened there. Thank you for that. Uh,
Right, let's scroll up.
choose
Yes.
rather than just react. It's something to chew on. It is our only real controllable thing.
Mhm.
But we do still have a choice in everything. All right, guys, as always, we'll get into some community calendar. We got our good friend Jim in Chicagoland, if he's still with us this evening. He'll be doing his, I assume he'll be doing his Catalyst broadcast here on Twitch. It is a fan favorite and goes well with this show as well.
Mhm.
Same with our good buddy Ray of Sunshine. He did his show last night. It's every Tuesday. Details are on his Twitch channel there. But just click on his name in chat and you can give him a follow. And we thank Ray and Hattie for their um, dedication to the show. Not just his own show, but our show too. We'll have to have Ray on. He's no stranger to the video live streaming, so we could have him on if he wants to come on and talk about
Yeah.
some shit. I know we've talked to Hattie about it as well. We got Gemma, my co-host. She is also a live streamer, other than just the mental health hour. I'm the only one that just does this. I used to do other shit, but then Penelope was born. But
Yeah.
Gemma, go ahead. Go ahead and tell them about your channel.
Um. Yeah, I've had to rebuild it all because everything went bye bye. But I've been doing quite a lot of cooking and baking on there,
Penelope.
arts, crafts, going play, a bit of everything, and I do a lot of the crafting and stuff to help my mental health. So it's a win-win there.
Penelope. she's getting anxious for it to be over. She knows it's dinner time now.
There's Penelope's achievement. She managed to last a whole hour nearly.
Yeah, she did pretty good. I forgot to
She did.
turn that damn toy off, so she started going to town on that thing in the middle of the slides. But
Is that where you went?
yeah, I don't know if I could hear it quite loudly. It was louder than the damn movie, and if you can't hear the movie, I was thinking you definitely could hear that. Um, Eric J Gaming is also available on Twitch. He was a guest on the show, so give him a follow. He's usually in here. I don't know that I saw him tonight,
No, I
uh,
haven't.
but yeah, definitely give him a follow. He streams every Monday. And then for all things Bunny, as you know, we got to give Ella some love. Go to mybunnyvalentine.com and help our good longtime friend of the show, Ella, the Bunny Mom. She streams live here on Twitch as well, usually in the late night hours. If you are an insomniac or just can't get some sleep, you can go see her and let her soothing sounds of ukulele and guitar playing and singing lull you to sleep. Give her a follow, give her website a check, and help her save all the bunnies. And then we'll be back again next week, guys. Next week, what do we have coming up, Gemma?
It is.
I was not quick enough on the draw.
I think it's suicidal ideation.
Yes, that is correct. It is suicidal ideation. So we'll be doing a nice trigger warning for that, and we'll have to set up some specialized helplines for that episode rather than the ones that we just use all the time. There are specific for suicide crisis helplines that we'll have to get that together and do.
I think that's what's on the new one. Actually, I went for the major crisis lines, so it is actually the numbers are actually on the ending of
Oh,
the.
okay.
That's
Well, I'm going to make a command because I want to be able to throw it up throughout the episode as well.
okay.
Or
Yeah.
have Hattie or Ray do that. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week, next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Go to the Discord, join us for some fun in the Discord. And then the bio link, of course, has all the other socials and shit on there. I'm going to go feed my child some gross baby food. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. Bye.